Hi, I'm Katrin. Welcome to my channel. My passion is storytelling, and that is what you find on my channel. I do the overall story of Margit Sandemo's book series, The Legend of the Ice People. It's a fantastic family saga which extends over several centuries. That is what I'm going to look into in my video today. Every book in this story stands on its own. You can come into the story anytime. So far we have followed Sol's journey from the Lind Alley to Copenhagen in Denmark. She rent a room from Count and Countess Strathelheim. It is there her brother Dag lives too. When she first arrived, she got told that the landlord's Count and Countess Strathelheim's boy was missing. Sol realized early on that she can feel the boy. She told the Count that she can be helpful in the search for his son. Sol took a great risk, as it turns out the Count was a high-ranking judge. He swears never to say anything about what he will experience now. Sol found the first trace of the boy. She followed her feeling, and Dag and the Count helped with the logical. They ended up at the printing office, and after some detective work they found the little boy. Dag have introduced Sol to his classmates. One of them shares her interest in magic. And back home in Norway, Liv have married Laurens Berenius. Liv realized almost immediately that this marriage will not be a happy one. Every day it gets worse and worse. Sol had the opportunity to accompany Preben to the secret meeting. Halfway into the meeting, Sol begins to suspect that this is all fake. When it was her turn to be inaugurated, she put a stop to this charade. She completely smashed their facade, and it was as she thought. Everything was fake. She used all her strength and performed a complicated spell that left the participants shocked. I will pick up exactly where I left her. She was not ready to leave Denmark yet. She longed for her journey to the hills of Brösarp. It was the place Hanna mentioned to her. Go to the hills of Brösarp. This is where the witch reunite at least twice a year. She had asked the dog if he knew where it was, but he was not sure. I think it's located in the region of Skåne. Skåne? Is it not located on the other side of Öresund? Yes, that's right. It borders Sweden. Today is Skåne a part of Sweden? She knew she had to cross the sea. It could not be done now. It was dangerous to travel across the water now in the winter. So she accepted the job offer from Count Strathelheim. They changed the title to governess instead of nanny. Sol was educated enough to be called that. The Countess was pregnant again and could not take care of a son as much as she wanted. The previous nanny had to quit her job for personal reasons. Everything turned out as well as the Count and Countess thought it would. Sol is loved, and she is one in the family, and she have behaved exemplary. What she then did in her room in the evening they had no idea. She continued to practice and use the content of Hanna's bag to the fullest. She was looking forward to two things. One was the journey to hills of Brösarp, and the other was to experience the ride to Blåkulla and meet the Dark Lord. Hanna had explained to her what to do. To get there she had to get hold of a herb that she didn't have. With that, it did not matter that she lingered here over the winter. She could not get the herb until the spring anyway. Blåkulla was a legendary island where the devil held his earthly court during the witches' Sabbath. The island could only be reached by a magical flight. It was described as a delicate large meadow where you can see no end. At Blåkulla they partied like a grand wedding. They drank and ate and danced and have sex. When you then woke up the body ached. The food you ate have disappeared and you were hungry. Sol have received a letter from Silje and Tengel. They congratulate her on her new job. They also announce that it was okay for her to stay there, but only as long as Dag did. Even if they didn't spell it out, she understood that they were both surprised and a bit hurt by the lack of contact they had with Liv. Liv apparently did not have time to visit them, and she did not have time to receive their visit either. From what Sol understood, Silje and Tengel have not visited Liv at all in her new home in Oslo. She thought it was a bit pity of Liv to treat her parents like this. That's not how she usually behaves. What they didn't know was that Lawrence always had some excuse not to let his wife's relative visit them. Even though he used a kind voice, the order to her was clear. He forbid her to visit the childhood home. When Liv received a package with gifts from her mother and father, then he got angry. Her parents, did they not think he could take care of her and give her what she needed? This was nothing that Sol knew about, but she had a bad feeling about how Liv behaved. Sol was introduced to several young men during her time in Copenhagen. They were all friends to Dag. None of these well-educated young men interested Sol. She did not know herself what she was looking for in a man, but it was probably a man with a strong authority. Most of the students here was studying to become priests or lawyers or scientists. None of them interested Sol. The church celebrates the great transition from 1599 to the year 1600. Sol did not participate in any of the celebrations. She avoided the church completely. The reason she gave was that she had to take care of the little boy Albrecht. At springtime, both Sol and Dag was invited by the Count and Countess to join them to a grand ball. They were both so proud of their beautiful Sol. The Countess had chosen a perfect dress for her, which suited her eyes. It was in deep green velvet. And when Sol moved, a petticoat in lace of gold appeared. They tried to put her hair up in a beautiful set, but the curls insisted on slipping out, so they let it be down. Her hair was beautiful. It took your breath away. On their way to the castle and the big ball, Dag whispered some words to Sol. They will be gathered around you as fly around the sugar. Don't be someone's paramour. I forbid it. Me? I don't want a fussy court jester. I need someone who is majestic, someone who has a desire. Oh my, said Dag. You ice people know what you want, and you also speak it out loud. You have certainly inherited a lot of your way from Hanna. And that I am very proud of. But you don't have to be afraid, little brother. I will behave as innocently as I can. Sol has to curtsy deep in front of King Christian. He is a robust 33-year-old man. His eyes twinkle a little when he sees Sol. But he could not do anything about his desire. He was at the moment occupied by a lady on the side, and he was also married since 3 years, so he had eyes on him all the time. But he made sure to get her contact information, who she was and where she lived. Several of the noble caught her. One of them, Lord Christian Fries, proposed to her the first time he laid his eyes on her, and two younger lords started to fight over her. But Sol behaved, much because she was not interested in any of them. But something happened that night that ended her grand life here in Copenhagen. Many people were invited to the ball. She had greeted many of them, but not all. During the evening she began to feel a deep hatred around her. Suddenly she feels observed, and the hatred felt stronger and intended for her. Pretty quickly she saw who the person was. That was the witch master's first lady from the secret meeting. "Ha! Look at that! She's a noble lady," Sol thought. She was a bit surprised of that. No wonder she stopped Sol before she could say something revealing about her. "That woman wants to hurt me. I feel it. I need to keep my eye on her." The king knew how to party. He drank a lot, and he ate and drank until he fell asleep, and they had to carry him to bed. Sol have been to parties before, but never ever have she seen people eat and drink so much. A man came up to Sol and said, "Your brother needs to speak to you. He is in the room to the left in the hallway." Sol thought it seemed strange, but went to meet Dag anyway. It was a beautiful room with works of art and beautiful mirrors on the wall. But Dag was not there. She waited. But when he did not come, she wondered if she had gone into the wrong room. She went out of the room again and looked around, but he was nowhere to be seen. She decided to go back to the party. Neither Dag or the man who asked her to go down were there, nor was the woman from the secret meeting. Sol got a bad feeling about this. She could see the Count and the Countess. She went over to them and asked if they had seen Dag, but they had not. Something was wrong, she knew it, and she didn't have to wait long. The woman from the secret meeting came running into the room. "My husband is dead." When people heard her say it, voices began to speak loudly, and people ran here and there. Judge Strathelheim told everyone to be quiet. He demanded an explanation. The woman told again that her husband was dead. "He is in the room down to the left in the hallway." "Thank you for that," Sol thought. "It looks like he is poisoned, and that's no surprise when we have a powder witch here among us." "That was careless of you," Sol thought. Suddenly the man appeared who asked Sol to go down and meet her brother, and he said, "I saw this lady go into that room a moment ago." "Yes, I went there because you told me to go there," Sol answered calmly and quietly. Inside her a fire of anger burned. "You told me to go there and meet my brother Dag, but he was not there. No one was there." "Oh, that's her!" The woman pointed to Sol. "It's her, the witch I was talking about." Dag came into the room. "Where have you been?" said Sol. Her eyes looked at him worried. "A woman asked me for advice, a legal issue." What woman, wonders Judge Strattelheim. Dag pointed to the woman who claimed that her husband had been murdered. He's lying, the siblings work together. There were a horrible noise in the room. Judge Strattelheim had to stop the upset voices again. You who are involved in this, follow me. Let's go down. We can talk more privately there. The husband was lying on the floor. There was no doubt about that he was poisoned. Sol asked if she could have a private conversation with Judge Strattelheim. She told him about the evening in Copenhagen when she visited the secret meeting. When she talked about everything, he took a deep breath and said, "It was careless of you. We have been living with you since last fall and have become fond of you. I know, of course, that you have been giving a gift more than other people. I have looked the other way, mostly because you did such a great job and you have done nothing that needs to be questioned. But now you have put us in a difficult situation. You have to give me the name of everyone from the meeting." But I can't do that. I don't know who they are. I don't know their names. And I think they were young, naive people who have now stopped with all this nonsense." She didn't want to mention Preben, Dag's classmates, much because she had more or less forced him to bring her to the meeting. But she could easily hand over the so-called witchmaster, lousy man who exploits those he can. But she didn't know his name either. She described him as best as she could. A servant came into the room and whispered something to the judge. "You are saved, Sol." A person who stood nearby heard when the man, who clearly is the woman's lover, that he told you to go down and meet your brother. It was certainly a conspiracy to frame you and your brother for murder. The judge turned to Dag. "Sol is no longer a suspect, neither are you, of course. Well, you have to excuse me now. I will take care of the widow and her lover. But I must say that you have put yourself in a difficult situation, Sol. You have been classified as a witch, and it is impossible to shake off. And I have no power not to prosecute you for it. But you have saved the life of my child and been wonderful to all of us this time, so I will do the only thing that I can. Dag, bring your sister home to us right now. We take care of your other wear. Early tomorrow, before anyone wakes up, 2 of the king's men will come and pick you up. They are on their way to Glimmingehus. They do the king's errand. They will pick you up, Sol, before sunrise, and you have to go with them. I think that we stop here for today." It took surprisingly long time for Sol to be accused to be a witch. I wonder how her journey from now on will be. There will for sure be a bumpy road. Next on my channel, I will look into the next episode of Fear the Walking Dead, Season 6, Episode 6. Bury her next to Jasper's leg. Then I will continue with my Sansa Stark video. When I left Sansa in my last video, Jon and Daenerys Targaryen had arrived to Winterfell. Then I will continue with the story Stepdaughter, The Abyss by Margit Sandemo and her book series The Legend of the Ice People. Some of my videos are published for a long time, others are removed quite quickly. If you don't want to miss anything, or if you just want to support my channel, subscribe and click on the notification bell. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you so much for stopping by. Stay safe out there and welcome back.